Final Fantasy.
Which one?
10.
Oh, Final. I know Final Fantasy 10.
Do you know the other Final Fantasy 10?
Which one?
The one that's also Final
13?
Fantasy 10. The one that's Final Fantasy 10-2.
As well.
It's 10 as well.
No, they only
also.
made one of those, right? They only made one Final Fantasy 10 to the most of my.
Oh, you mean like the
best of my
remaster?
knowledge. Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
the remaster, right.
Yeah. They ported it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the international version where you have the Dark Aeons? Yeah.
It does have the Dark Aeons.
Listen, if Final Fantasy X-2 is so good, why isn't there a Final Fantasy X-2 Scholar of the First Sin?
Where they just like change the enemy placement a little bit.
Yeah, and fuck up a lot of shit, apparently. I don't know. I never played that one. I only played the...
It's the only version I've ever played, so
I want to
as
get
far as I'm
really...
concerned, it's perfect.
I want to get really, like, evangelical about, like, only playing the vanilla version of Final Fantasy X-2.
yeah,
Be like
only the
fucking
original
remake.
PS2 version.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're playing international? Get that shit
Yeah,
out
you
of here.
fucking loser. Oh my god.
Solaire has a gun now.
Yes, dude. He should. As he should.
Boy, he has a voice of an angel.
That's right. Also,
It's tax season.
Sure
It's
Which
is.
means
tax
we've paid
season.
off some debts.
We did. And much like real tax season, the first thing you do when you pay off those debts is often you want to jump off of something very
Jump to
high
conclusions?
up in the air. You jump
That's
to
absolutely
conclusions, yes. Owaka overboard. Owaka has paid off his debts, and he has paid off his debts, not us helping him.
yeah. Well,
I mean, I guess that's business, but
yeah, it's fine.
We're funding his properties with our income.
I think the way
We call that OPM, which is other people's money.
I think the most correct way to look at it is probably that this is the Every F and FF podcast, and I'm Curtis.
I'm Carl.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Well,
This is not the best way to look at it.
Yeah, the
each
best
their
way to
own.
look at a Final Fantasy game has never and never will be the Every F and FF podcast. but
yeah,
we do
fair enough.
appreciate everyone listening. That's extremely kind of you.
And I'm Alex.
And ignorant. yeah, and Alex.
Unrelated to what we were doing, but I'm Alex, by the way.
That's right. But yeah, we're
So Owaka has jumped overboard, probably met the same fate as that one Cactuar.
Oh yeah,
And
from
who
10.
just
that's
jumped
right.
himself
I
off the
forgot.
Fahrenheit. I'm sure we'll see no more Cactuars after that.
Of course,
no,
not.
that's got to be it. But yeah, like you're saying, Owaka's jumped overboard. He's running back to Lake Macalania to pay off the Albed, right, who he owes money to, who have been like trying to hunt him down. And as soon as we arrive, like I think if you go there via the ship, it just drops you right at Lake Macalania, right?
It does, yeah. Also, like once you start traveling anywhere, because like we trigger that cutscene of him being like, "Oh, I paid off my debts." Like, you have to go up to Buddy to tell him where to go, and we immediately get a new hotspot, or it might not even be a hotspot, but we get like a thing that pops up that says like, "Oh, you got to go and check on Owaka."
Code Salmon.
Yeah, it turns that deep salmon color.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the alarms are going off. But it's saying that he is headed for the travel agency in Macalania, of course. So
Of course.
why don't we head there as well?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, the mission that comes up for us is Travel Agency SOS. We're getting a distress call from the Macalania Travel Agency. I don't know what's going on down there, but it can't be good. And I'm like, what is Owaka doing down there, man?
I think it's possible to trigger this SOS like mission before Owaka arrives. Like we just happen to like
Yeah,
do this.
it might be possible.
But I think it's just to do everything correctly, we have to pay off his debt first.
I'm afraid to do any kind of sequence breaking in this game because I'm like, it's gonna lock me out of something. And
I'm saying
Yeah.
it's possible. I'm not saying it's the correct thing to do.
right, of course.
Anything is possible in the world of Final Fantasy.
I'm like afraid to play mini games in this fucking game because of shit like this.
Afraid of doing too good.
I'm like, oh, there's a mini game in the Thunder Plains that we haven't done yet of like calibrating the towers. I will not touch that. If that's not needed for 100%, I will never touch it.
Isn't that like your real life job?
Yeah, pretty much. It also sucks shit.
Calibration. But yeah, we arrive on the Macalania travel agency, and it is swarming with flans and crabs galore.
Yeah, the ice flans and the little shell guys with the crystals popping out of their back.
Yeah,
They're cool. I like that enemy type. It's a good enemy type.
it is. Yeah, I feel like they're not that difficult in this game. It was.
No.
I definitely remember it in 10 because there was like the specific role character that you had to use. I forget which one.
Auron.
I think it was Auron.
Right.
Yeah, you had to use
Yeah.
like armor break or whatever.
Yeah.
To get to their sweet, fatty, meat
Gooey inside. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Butter that baby up.
Butter that baby up. But yeah, so I guess this is related to the fiends coming out of the temple, because as soon as we like arrive, like if you remember from last time, the whole thing about the your friendly neighborhood gullwings, right, is that fiends are pouring out of the temple and they're causing havoc everywhere. And Macalania Temple was once here, but it's now sunk to the bottom of the lake. But Payne does say, like, oh, they must be from Macalania Temple. The fact that it's underwater doesn't seem to matter. So that's why there's, like, so many around, right?
Yeah, but Riku's, like, freaking out because there's Albed who are trying to fight them off and not really doing that well.
No.
So she's like, yeah, we can worry about all
I think there's a
like,
dead one just, like, on the ground that a flan just nomming on.
Yeah, there's just a dead body on the ground.
So she's like, we just got to help them. Like, come on, let's go, Uni. And it's interesting, too, because Payne's just like, okay, well, if we're going to help, what's the fee that we're going to charge? And Riku's like, dude, I will pay it myself. Let's just fucking help, my people.
The thief will pay up.
Yes.
But mission time, secure the agency, rout the fiends that have attacked the travel agency. Is that what it says?
I don't know how that is pronounced. It's like route without an E.
Yeah, it was like route.
That's another instance of Final Fantasy X-2 trying to teach me a new word, but I refuse to learn. I am in my mid-30s. I refuse to learn anything more.
A disorderly retreat of defeated troops. All right.
Rout.
To defeat and cause to retreat in disorder. So yeah, route. As in, okay.
Yeah. There's no time to heal between battles, so you'll just have to withstand them all. Objective, win 6 consecutive battles. How'd you guys fare in this?
Well, good thing we have a white mage.
Good thing we have a lot of things.
I spent a lot of money on Owaka to make sure I was ready to come here, I guess, and have a lot of potions.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. I spent a lot of money on Owaka, but to get all the money to spend on Owaka, I was buying and then selling things and then buying things again. So I had previously bought, 99 potions, 99 high potions, and then sold them all so I could buy more stuff. And so when I went into this fight, and like this fight isn't like hard, but you're gonna have to heal. Like they do a decent amount of damage, and like it's like a medium difficulty set of battles.
Some of those beasts are pretty like it alternates between like kind of nothing enemies like flans and those crabs, and then these giant like I forget what they're called, but they're kind of like the chimera looking.
Yeah.
Those things can hit really hard.
They really can.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any potions going into this at all. So my like strategy of using alchemist to mix potion and high potion did not work because I didn't have any. And I was like, well,
I recently, because with Riku, I've just had her be my alchemist like the whole time. And there's a skill in it that you can kind of work towards where the first one I think is, it's called stash, I think. And the first one is potion. Where you stash a potion away for like future use. Basically, it means you just have a free potion, like a free endless supply of potions, more or less. Like you can use them multiple times in a battle, and as you level that up, you get better versions of potions. So you have a free potion, a free high potion, and last episode when I was grinding, I got a free mega potion. So now I no longer even need to like use mix. I think mix might be a little faster with like popping the potion, but I'm just like, well, here's a free one. It's less inputs as well, so I can just use that at any point.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm
so that was up. Saving me in this.
I didn't go through the alchemist's abilities yet because I was like, well, I have mix. That's all I care about.
Yeah, all you need
like,
is mix,
whatever.
really. But yeah, it mixing 2 high potions together, as soon as I paid off Owaka, and I was like, cool, like, I have all these potions. And then I was like, oh, I actually do not need them at all anymore.
I think somebody told me today that Alchemist needs the most the most AP to master.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I mean, the next one that I'm working towards is an X potion, which I think is going to be a lot. It might even get to a point where you can get like elixirs or some shit. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm looking at it right now. The reason why Alchemist takes the longest to master is because you can get an elixir and it costs 999 AP to learn that.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's a fucking broken fucking thing. Like, you just use a spare elixir that you have tucked away. Yeah, like, so just, that would have made a fight that we have coming up a little later much easier.
Right.
I'm trying to see if there's any specific like methods, or if there's any like good things you can steal from these enemies to make.
I think I
easier.
used Pilfer Gil at one point and stole like a decent amount of Gil from one of them. Like I had an oversold enemy in one of the first, like the Ari man, like the variant of like the big eye thing. And I think I think the Chimera guys you can steal a little bit of Gil from.
They're called Rios.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. See, Rios.
But in Japanese, they're Goki Maira. So,
Goku?
I don't know.
Goku is here.
That's right, Goku.
Item drops. They can drop lightning gems, water gleams, and electrocutioner. If you
Water
can
gleam
them.
sounds like a pretty interesting thing. There's also at this point with Thief, you might have unlocked. I think it's called Sticky Fingers, where you are like guaranteed to get a rare item or something. There's like it costs like 28 MP, but I think that's the ability I'm thinking of. But yeah, I think the gleams, the way that they work is they infuse your weapon with like that element. So like there's a point later where in a chest we get a lightning gleam.
Right.
They're like the Dark Souls. What is it? The soapstones?
The pine resin.
The pine resin. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
But they can also rare steal as a lightning gleam. Looks like from these things too. I wonder if those are useful for. I forget what their like weaknesses are. Looks like their affinity is, let's see, 0 lightning, 0%. If it says affinity is 0%, does that mean like there's no modification, or does it mean that they are weak against them?
I think affinities, I'm not sure.
I just get confused. So affinity is ice and holy, so that means
I think
that
they're fire, water, and ice or something, maybe.
The Ryosa says they are 50% fire, 50% water, 100% ice, 100% holy.
100% concentrated power of will. But
Either way.
All right, I thought that was pretty good. There are 6 rounds of these battles with them.
Yeah, and like Alex said, it's like sort of difficult battle, then kind of 2 nothing battles or so to allow you to like use items or heal up as much as possible, and then another one of the tougher battles, and then so not really the hardest thing in the world, but
I've had to fight 3 Ryos, I think. It was quite a doozy.
We're also not super far away from like the last time we saved, so it's not that bad if you get a game over. I think I did get a game over initially. Just because I like immediately went down and I think Payne had like 40 HP left and was trying to use a Phoenix down, and I was just like, oh, it's over. Like it was like on the first battle when I was just kind of getting my bearings with it, so I was like, fuck it.
Now you do have the option in this. You can flee, but you will not complete the mission if you do.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because between each battle, it's like, oh, there's more of them coming, and it says like fight or flee.
Yeah, you could flee. But yeah, you won't complete the mission if you flee. So you actually have to like stick around and fight all 6 in a row. Which, like I said, not too bad. But once you're done with all 6 fights, Payne will mention that that's the last of them. Riku will ask how the people inside are, and you get your rewards at that point. Like you get all your experience and all your gil and all your items all at once.
Yeah, it is a pretty satisfying screen because it's like experience like 2,000 something, like gil like 1160, or at least in my screenshot it says 1160 gil. So shout outs to the shiz. But yeah, we get at least I got some remedies, light curtain, Arctic wind, holy water, lunar curtain, and a beaded brooch.
I got the beaded brooch as well. Brooch.
And you also, as a reward, get the Pride of the Sword garment grid, which the image is Velafor's Fayth. And it allows you to use swordplay abilities if you equip it.
Right.
It also gives you, like, for moving across the board, it'll give you additional strength, and the wait time of swordplay will go down. So
nice, yeah.
Cool stuff.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but you go inside, and I think when you first go inside, there's only one Al Bhed in there, and he's like, kind of like sitting up against the desk of the travel agency, and this dude is dying.
There's a Machina, this one last Al Bhed, and like some monster
Yeah,
over
like
to
Yeah,
the
a
right.
monster from the Thunder Plains, not one of the ones that was outside.
I guess like the palette, it looks really nice in here. They might have been like, this one looks the coolest, so just put
Yeah.
it.
Well,
If it was like a dead flan, it would be not as.
Maybe it was the Albed's pet.
I was gonna say maybe it's the Albed's pet.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
ally fiend. His
That's right,
party
that's
was
right.
like
He also has the creature creator.
he is the creature creator, and that was like the large one, so it was only him and that one or whatever. Or the
His
medium
party
size.
was a machina himself and this monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we go in, we see all.
Because I was gonna say the Albed speaks in Albed, and I don't have enough.
He says, "What is it?"
Okay.
That huge shape deep within the lake is what he says in Albed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fiend ... machina.
Ye fiend, machina.
I want to bring up that line, the something like deep in the lake.
Yeah, sin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like last time, it was sin.
I think this implies that Pain knows how to speak Albed. Because if you go and talk to her on the airship after this, that is what she says that in quotes. Like she heard it and
interesting.
stuff.
Oh,
So I remember being like, oh yeah, I was like trying to like suss out what it said and I couldn't really do it. And I was like, whatever, we'll read the thing later. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, that must have been what the Albed said. So Pain understood that.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, or Riku told Pain that or something. But I like to think that it's like, oh yeah, she just understands Albed, and we're the only dumbasses who don't.
Riku says, "Don't talk, save your strength," and then he gives us something. He says, "Take this. I found it near the lake."
Yeah. His love for us was ticking clock, and he has given us the Berserker dress sphere.
That's right. Berserker.
That rules.
Yeah, Berserker is an awesome dress sphere. It's a really good one. Every now and again in this game, I feel like we get like, because there's so many dress spheres, and a lot of them have like an interesting use here and there. Berserker is peak primo dress sphere. This is a good one.
Yeah,
Very goofy.
I set it to Pain, but I did not switch to it. Now I'm kind of regretting it. I was like, damn, I meant to do that. I didn't do too much with battles in this chapter. I just relied heavily on my charm bangle.
That is a good character to set it to, because it is a primarily physical attack dress sphere. One thing I did today, because I was doing my homework today before the podcast, they just come with Berserk, the skill. So you can cast Berserk on yourself. And since you're mostly doing physical attacks anyway, it just automates that. So you're just always doing physical attacks and your attack power goes up. And I think you're faster as well. So it just
rocks.
lets you put out more physical damage quicker. And you're already like a physical damage machine with
Man, that would have been
Berserker.
really helpful in a battle we have coming up now that I'm thinking about it.
Yep. I forgot to equip Berserker until like after that. I should have done it. So
I think we only have 2 dress spheres remaining that we have to collect, because in the version
that
that I'm
true?
playing, you can look at the dress spheres and it will show you like all of them on like a almost like in its own garment grid kind of thing, but just to show you all of them. And I only see 2 missing ones. So
yeah, that's
unless there's like
probably
hidden
right.
ones or weird ones. But yeah, we're getting up there. I'm looking at the character models of all the girls in Berserker, and it's like they kind of are just like sort of like furries, which is really cool. I really like
battle
the outfits
furries.
a whole lot. Yeah, like battle furries.
Battle furries.
It's like when someone takes off their fursuit's head and they're kind of just walking around. Like that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, they very much look kind of like the Final Fantasy V Berserker, I think.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
even though
yeah.
those are like smaller, but I think this is like a pretty good interpretation of those.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks like they have different fighting styles.
Yeah, I think Riku has like a capoeira kind of like
Oh
dance
yeah,
fighting
okay.
thing. Yeah,
And Pain is like a panther kung fu,
yeah.
and does like a
Pounces and
mountain lion
attacks like a mountain lion. Yeah, in like the image of them, Riku's kind or Yuna's kind of standing like a
thing. Yeah,
like she's in character of like some sort of like lion creature. I'm just now in a Wikipedia like hole about the panther kung fu style, which is also I guess known as leopard kung fu, maybe. And now I'm also just thinking it's one of the 5 animal styles of kung fu, which just
like In-N-Out Burger.
I'm just hearing Wu-Tang Clan in my fucking head now, like tiger stance, like that's all I'm thinking. Yeah, tiger, snake kung fu, mantis, crane, dog kung fu. Yo, there's an eagle kung fu. Fuck yeah, go birds. Anyway, I'll look at that more later.
Yeah, is there anything cool, interesting we want to talk about there? That dress sphere while we're on it.
Yeah, what I like about it has multiple kinds of counterattack that I think is very nice. You don't get any of them for free. You do have to learn them with AP, but in ascending order, you get counterattack first. So you take a physical hit, then you give a physical hit. Then there's magic counter. You take magic and then you hit one, and then you get evade encounter. So if it misses, you counter still.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah, it's really nice, especially like with Berserk on. You have like that instant haste and a higher attack power. It's really just kind of like, I like it because you can kind of set the character and forget them, right? You're just like, go Berserk, start going nuts, and just put out physical damage. And then you just have to worry about 2 characters. I think it's pretty cool. But you also get instinct skills as well, which are mostly like down to like, again, physical attacks. The one you start out with, or I think is the one that you're automatically learning first, is Cripple, which just halves an enemy's HP straight up.
Whoa, that's nuts.
There's like a heavy damage attack and Mad Rush. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. One is Crackdown that goes through... I think it dispels Shell and Protect. So you do like a big hit to somebody and it like dispels their defenses as well, which is really cool.
I like Howl. Looks like it takes a lot of AP to... Oh, wait, no, I was thinking MP. Howl just doubles your max HP.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome, yeah.
It's very D&D, I feel like.
Yeah.
It also looks like an auto ability is itch proof, which means you can't like be forced to change your dress sphere.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think we haven't really encountered Itchy yet that I'm familiar with.
Itchy can happen in this episode. We'll actually get some enemies who will do Itchy. Yep.
Cool.
Is that what it does? It forces you out of that dress sphere that you're in?
Yeah, you can't do anything until you change dress sphere.
That rocks. Oh, you know what? That might have been happening to me and I didn't even fucking realize it.
Oh.
Yeah, same. I think I was like, why can't I do anything? And then
the funny thing is,
I don't look like I'm petrified or silenced or anything.
If you have your game on like instant change, where like you don't have to watch the transformations every single time, if you get inflicted with the itchy status, you can just change to another dress sphere, which takes 0 seconds, and then change right back to the dress sphere that you were in and just continue along. It's like, well,
I think I have done that in battles where I was itchy and didn't even realize it. I was just like, that's weird. There was like a boss battle or something where it was happening. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is Pain just standing there?
Yeah, that'll happen. But yeah, so we get that. We also get the Albred primer. I got number 1, which is exciting. To me, it was exciting. I was like, ooh.
I wonder, are those, I guess those are random. I got 15.
Yeah, we talked about it before that they were like somewhat random or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we're not always getting the same ones.
Weird.
I wonder if it's just like whatever you're missing or they have like some certain...
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a counter or like a step counter thing. Because that's what I want to know now. Albed primers. Say we don't have to like wait for me to find. I don't know if I'll find anything.
Okay.
So if we did not pay off Awaka's debt, this is when the cutscene would just end.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they would just be, whoop. Oh well, this is how you get the Berserker thing, and this is how you. So it's not like you're not locked behind a paywall to get Berserker, but because we did get Awaka paid up, he now like runs in.
What's happened to me shop? Come on, lad, I've come to give back the money I owe ye. Ye can't die before I pay ye back. Think of me reputation. I'm begging ye.
I do like that he's kind of being selfish about it. He's like, think about how you dying affects me and what people think of me. Yeah. But it's like, it's his way of coping with
I was like,
this
oh yeah, Awaka doesn't pay his debts back and look, even if you die or whatever, like, yeah, he's...
Just bury him with the fucking 100,000 gil that we gave you, dude.
But yeah, the Albed does he does in fact die, right? And Awaka's like, oh, look what you've done. Disgrace on the Awaka name. And he like just stands there for a little while. And that's like the end of the scene. But you can talk to him and he's just like standing there looking off, right? He's not even looking at you. And he just says, how could he do this to me? If you talk to him. Yeah, it's pretty good. I thought that was a really nice moment. Like a little bit of...
The scene does continue out front, I think, too.
It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does give like Awaka a nice like human characteristic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
colors
Like you would expect him to just be like, "Oh, the dude I gotta fucking pay back just died. Hell yeah!" Now I'm rich.
Right.
But no, he's actually very distraught about it, as you should be.
He was on parole or whatever. He's got to be good now that he's out of prison or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
He got himself locked up on her behalf, right? Because, and his like brother Wald or something had to like step in. Do you remember him? His like younger brother who like met us on Gagazet.
I do remember that. His name wasn't Owaka though. It was something like
it was Wald or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Wald Owaka.
I remember that. Yeah, because we saw him on Mountain Gagazet
Once.
Yeah, I remember
That's
him.
his name.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have to search to find out the specific like logic behind how it doles out the albed. That's what my brain wants to go to, but I am seeing definitely that there is no set location for each individual primer. Instead, primers are randomly dispersed through set amounts of events and locations.
Okay.
So
But
pretty
we
interesting.
when we walk out of the agency and we're getting ready to leave, right? Because there is a save sphere in the agency, but it's disabled right now, so you can't actually go back to the ship from it yet.
Oh, really? Interesting. I don't even think I tried interacting with that one.
But once we walk out front, Owaka comes out front and he says, "Mark my words, I'll stand by this shop no matter what may come." And Payne says, "I think you'll get more fiends than customers." And he goes, "Well, I guess I'll just have to start selling to fiends, won't I? I owe it to the lads who died defending me shop, and I'll not be letting them down. You will come and stop in once in a while, won't you?" And then that's the end of the scene. And then it does turn back on to where we can use the save sphere to go back to the ship from there.
Nice.
That's the end of that scene. And I do like that when you go back to the Celsius, Riku's like, "Hey, we should go actually visit Owaka every now and again. So like, let's go do that."
Yeah, there is.
Well, he can't right now.
Yeah, right.
I did go back and try to, and he's not really ready.
There is also a small note at the end of this on the 100% guide that we're following that just says, visit the south entrance to let Shinra place a comm sphere. And then they have a picture of the Macalania Woods where Shinra is setting up a comm sphere. So I ran all through Macalania Woods just to make sure that it was there. It was already there because I think I was like doing some level grinding earlier and I saw him like placing it before, but...
Right, yeah. I actually came in through the Thunder Plains the first time, so like I got the scene automatically, but yeah. But... that's all it's there. Next, I went to Beaconell Desert. Is that what we all did?
Yeah, I missed the Beaconell part and jumped ahead in the guide and did the next part after that. And then I was like, fuck! Luckily, it doesn't really matter the order that you do it in. So the Beaconell is what we'll talk about now.
Okay.
Yeah, the non-hot spots you can kind of do in whatever order you want, I think, for the most part. It's just for the 100% guide. It just makes sense to go down the list.
Yeah, there might be like a one-off here and there. Oh, I also see the screenshot that I have. There's, I think, 3 dress spheres left that we have to find.
Okay.
I may have miscounted.
Yeah, we're
earlier.
definitely getting down toward the end.
Yeah.
And we get one more today, too. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so Beaconell, when you select it, it doesn't say that there's any mission there, but the description is, "We got a request for help from Nautila at the excavation camp. Doesn't seem to be any rush, though. I guess we can put it off." It's like very interesting.
Whatever.
But we can go down there, and Nautila does, she greets us as soon as like we land in Beaconell Desert, right?
Yeah, she tells us that she's glad to see us and that she needs our help with something. That and Yuna's like, "Oh yeah, the fiends, right?" And she's like, "No, not fiends, cacti."
Well, Beacon doesn't have temples, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any temples
No,
here.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So there wouldn't be fiends.
Yeah, but she goes on after saying that she needs our help with cacti, saying that Marnella of the Cactuar Nation has asked to see us, and those words are like in different colors.
They
like,
are.
they're,
I
like,
love that.
Proper words. And
This will be important.
Yeah, we've been too busy here to spare anybody. If it's not a problem, I'd like you to represent us. And Yuna asks a very good question that was also on my mind, which is, what's the Cactuar Nation? And she says, don't worry if you haven't heard of it before. We've only recently established diplomatic ties.
I love this. I love the idea of the Cactuar Nation.
Yeah, me too. I was
So
instantly excited about it. But then we get to meet our interpreter, who's named Benzo.
Benzo.
It's such a goofy name.
Yeah.
I mean, I immediately thought of benzodiazepines. But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, same,
when I was
same,
playing
exactly.
it, everybody in the stream was like, "Benzo, like the drug?" Or like...
But he does look like just like Shinra, but if only his goggles covered his eyes. He still has his face.
That's right,
He's basically
yeah.
just wearing the Shinra outfit. A different helmet and a different color palette, I think.
I do like that his suit has like two thick metal handlebars coming out of the back.
I mean, yeah, that's what Shinra does too. He has like a little.
Does
It's for his little. It's like you gotta keep your kid on a leash at Disney World.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So if you like take him somewhere, you can just pick him up by the handlebar.
If you get too pissed at Shinra, you can just grab him by those and throw him off the fucking airship.
Yeah,
and then he's no one's problem anymore.
Just hang him. But yeah, does Benzo say anything? I don't think he does.
He's just like nice to meet you. That's about it.
I do like that when we agree to this, Payne just asks like, do you ever say no to like when are you going to learn to say no? It's like the game keeps fucking like casting shade at the player for trying to do 100% and they lock an ending behind 100% and they make it really difficult. It's like, what do you want from me, game?
I mean, Payne did also say don't give her any false hope. So obviously she's on the side of not doing 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, Benzo does say that he's the only one, or they're the only one who can understand Marnella.
Right.
A bit hard to explain to someone who hasn't met Marnella before.
Yeah.
I feel like it's actually kind of simple to explain. But I was like, ooh, I can't wait to meet Marnella. And then I saw it and I was like, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
I also like that I was just kind of talking to NPCs in this area before going to meet Marnella, and there's a guy who just says, I hear of strange coins being found in the regions recently opened for digs, and I'm just like, ooh, I want to get some strange coins.
Yeah, one guy says like...
I wonder what those are for.
Yeah, one guy talks about the strange coins, and then directly south of there, a guy's like, yo, I heard Ren just started this game up using strange coins.
Damn it. I thought it was something different. I didn't
Ancient
even think so.
pogs.
I just heard, like, my imagination went wild. I'm like, ooh, strange coins, and then I'm like, oh, it's
I just learned the other day, and you probably already know this, Carl, because I know that you play this game all the time or whatever, or like mods of it. The big coins in Mario World are called dragon coins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is Yoshi a dragon? They have Yoshi's face on them.
Yeah, I think potentially.
He's a dinosaur.
I mean, well, there's also in Super Mario World was the introduction of Yoshi was in Super Mario World, despite Miyamoto wanting to put Yoshi in Super Mario Brothers 3, but not having the ability to. But there's also like a bunch of fucking dinosaurs in Super Mario World. There's like the Rex that has like the little horn on his nose, and then there is the Reznor as well, as we all know and love.
I just thought I was like, oh, that's probably what people just call them, the dragon coin, but they're probably like Yoshi coins or something. And then I looked it up and I was like, no, they're actually called dragon coins. Fucked up. Anyway,
I'm looking at the official Super Mario wiki, which says Yoshi is a dinosaur-like character that acts as an ally of Mario and Luigi.
I guess a dragon is dinosaur-like.
Yoshi Island. Yeah, I don't know. Should I go upstairs and get my fucking Super Mario encyclopedia and get to the bottom of this?
Well, you know it also lives
referring
on
to
that
your
island.
fiance or an actual encyclopedia?
No, we actually do have one. In the West, Yoshi is known to be a dinosaur since his introduction in Super Mario World, likely due to dinosaurs being known in Japan as scary dragons.
There you go. Okay.
In the original Japanese manual of said game, he was introduced as a dragon. And and in quotes, it's Duragon. So,
well, there's the answer.
There we go.
That doesn't help us talk to the Cacti
Okay,
Nation,
now we got to
though.
talk about Birdo. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We love Birdo. We talked about her.
Yeah, I think
last
we did
year.
talk. Oh, yeah, that's right. We already did. Okay, we already covered all
Super
the
Mario
bases
RPG.
about how we are co-opting Birdo as a trans icon.
Correct.
I love when she makes that with Yoshi and it just goes right in that little big mouth of hers.
Do you guys think Yoshi gets embarrassed when he lays eggs?
You know, Carl, I think about this every night.
I'm sorry if this offends anyone.
So we arrive at the Cacti Nation after taking a hovercraft there.
Quite a ride.
And as far as we can tell, there's no one there at first, right? We're just walking among cactus or cacti.
And it's cacti.
There's not even, there's not even
surrounded by cacti. Sorry, Carl showed us a video before hopping on call.
Yeah, of Ryan Dunn, rest in peace, from one of the Jackass movies, on a bungee cord, jumping over some cacti and getting pulled back into the cacti, and he's very upset about it. Like, you can tell the entire time he's like, I don't want to do it. The first thing he says after he lands it is, this is such a stupid fucking idea. And my friends and I would always say this, where he just goes, I'm surrounded by cacti, and then someone like out of frame just goes, it's cactus, and he goes, it's cacti. It's like, whatever it is, it fucking hurts.
I'm surrounded by cacti. For fuck's sake. It's cacti!
So we are once again surrounded by cacti.
I would say that the crew of the Jackass show and movies were owie pilled and ouchmaxing. If I had to come up with a word for it. But yes, it is Cactus Central out here.
It's Cactus Town.
Yeah, Riku says it's Cactus Central out here. Then Yuna screams, "It's cacti!"
But yeah, Riku's asking where our Marnella is, and Benzo says right here, and we're just standing in front of a cactus, it just looks like it doesn't look like the cactuar that we've all come to know and love.
Right.
Just a straight up cactus.
It's Cactus Central out here. So where's this Marnella anyway?
Right here.
Here where?
And no one believes Benzo, even though he's been very obviously oh yeah, you guys aren't gonna believe this shit. But Yuna's are you sure this is the place? And then
the cactus wiggles.
It starts wiggling. We see Nadala kind of start walking towards us as well. Riku falls over and just says, we also hear little noises, very strange little sounds.
I mean, the cactuar noises, which are kind of springy and rubby and whistly, kind of weird merps that cactuars do. But yeah, this cactus starts wiggling and it's giving off this glow.
Yeah, yeah. But
and Riku's oh my god, it talked. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, and Benzo says, "This is Marnella." And then
the whole time she's moving around.
Yeah, she's wiggling around. And then he says, "I'll translate." And I like that we hear Marnella's text or her dialogue, I suppose, but all the dialogue boxes says Benzo. So it's Benzo is
Benzo
talking to
and
us.
in quotes, yeah.
I love that.
Marnella's greeting us. "Hello, Benzo." She says, "Hello to you too, Sphere Hunters. I am Marnella of the Cactuar Nation. It does not surprise me that you are startled." And then, in parentheses, it says, "By the way, she's smiling." I like how we just have to trust that Benzo, this child, knows how to speak cacti.
Does he have this imaginary friend who says he's the only one who can talk to the cactus?
Right.
We, the cacti of this nation, were once cactuars.
It's cactuses.
As the cacti that sprout in the desert grow, they become cactuars. When the cactuars mature, they once again become cacti, their roots digging deep into the earth. Thus, we have watched over the sands of Bikanel Desert since the dawn of time. And then we get an option because Marnella says via Benzo, "So tell me, do you believe what I have told you?" And we can say it's a little far-fetched or it makes perfect sense. Which did you guys choose?
I said that makes perfect sense.
So did I, because I'm terrified of getting locked out of anything.
Yeah, I think either way.
I don't think it matters either way because the guy did not tell us you have to do this.
I think either way the cutscene will just end after one line because if you say that's a little far fetched, Benzo will say she's very disappointed in your answer, and then that's it.
Oh, okay.
We have disappointed the Cactus Nation, the Cacti Nation.
Someone told me earlier that they think you have to watch the cutscene again, maybe.
Yeah.
But
oh wow.
Oh yeah, so if you hit one, Benzo will say one being this is a little far fetched. I know this isn't the easiest thing to believe, but won't you listen to her story just one more time? Just
okay.
The Kapora Gabora effect. Yeah, but if we say that that it makes perfect sense, which obviously it does,
Riku will be kind of hard to believe in talking cactus, but here it is, big as life, so it has to be real, right? Or in Pain's it can't be true. Give me a second. I need to get my thoughts in order. And then you can start again. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah. So, but yeah, Benzo will say, she says, "Thank you." And then I think Marnella's about to tell us why she called us here. And then Marnella says, "A strange wind has been blowing through the desert. You too may have felt the sands trembling beneath your feet. A fearsome fiend that rests deep beneath the earth has begun to stir. In the depths, it gathers its strength, and it will not be long before it makes its move. And when that time comes, it will bring its wrath to bear upon the Cactuar Nation first. The reason it lusts for vengeance against us? It is we who locked it away beneath the dunes so very long ago. To be more precise, it was not us, but our ancestors who ruled this land in ages past. Its need for retribution will surely lead it here. We must summon the great Haboob and prepare ourselves for the coming menace.
We have to
Only the
summon the great
Cactuars
Haboob.
known as the 10 Gatekeepers can weave this magical barrier. So we found out about the 10 Gatekeepers. We must find out about the 10 gaslighters and then the 10 girl bosses as well to complete
right,
this
yeah.
mission. But they are out training in every corner of Spira. I need your help to seek them and bring them back. The Cactuar mothers know where they have gone. Lose no time in finding the 10 Gatekeepers and returning them to us. And Benzo says that's all she has to say.
Mission time.
Mission time.
Mission time. The Cactuar connection.
Someday we'll find it.
The 10 gatekeepers have ventured into the world proper to train. Round them up and bring them home to the Cactuar Nation. Think you can unravel the Cactuar mother's clues and sniff them out? Objective: find the 10 gatekeepers.
Yeah, and then if we talk to Benzo again, he says, I wonder where the Cactuars could be. There's like an Albed over here. It might be Nadala, and she's saying...
It kind of looks like her, right?
I think
but
I think
she
it
has
is,
long
yeah.
hair.
But just says, we've only begun to survey this area. And there's some like indicators on the map for we can talk to some of the cactuses here, the cacti, excuse me. We don't have to talk to any of them because it just in the guide, in the 100% guide, it just says we are done here for now.
Yeah. You don't have to do these yet, but
This is very kind of. It reminds me of the hide and seek a bit from the last game. But
It's
kind of
very
more like
similar.
Where in the world are the Cactuars kind of instead?
yep.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to the first one, it's the mother of the Cactuar Lubivia, and it says Lubivia was supposed to head north from the oasis with his friends, but I haven't heard a thing from him since. I suppose Libivia's always had a bit of wanderlust. He's probably off wasting his time in some good-for-nothing place this very moment. Call it motherly instinct.
Yeah. After any time we talk to one of these Cactuar mothers, Benzo will just say, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's right.
There's also one of the... I talked to another one of the cactuses. We see one of those Cactuar stones like we see in the Thunder Plains kind of back, and then we see like a neon glowing Cactuar thing.
It's like blocking a cave entrance, I think.
Exactly, yeah. And translating this cactus, we find out that is the lair of the rogue Cactuars. Becoming a fine cactus protecting the desert, those who forsake this duty flee there. Naturally, the entrance is sealed. Be careful not to get too close.
A cave guarded by a Cactuar stone and a magical neon Cactuar sign. I know it's down there. It's a mini game where I have to either play as Yuffie or Aerith and fight a bunch of enemies who give me points. And if I don't get enough points, I can't get Gilgamesh's special item. That might be too early for that to be a joke to land because I don't know how many people have played Rebirth yet. But
I've played I haven't gotten to that specific part in Rebirth, but that sounds like the most fucking Rebirth shit ever. I mean, I was also thinking about in Rebirth there is a part where you have to find Cactuar hidden in plain sight.
yeah.
So
What a game. Anyway,
What a game.
Yeah. But that's all we have to do here for now.
yeah, and Pickett says, "At last, I thought you would never leave."
Shut up,
Are you
Pickett.
ready to return to camp? So yeah.
I like to out of all of that, the party has seen some shit at this point, right? Like we've seen some
we've
crazy
killed
things.
God.
We've killed
us.
God. Fucking spirits are coming back to life from beyond the grave to fight. Fucking fiends are pouring out of the temples. And when we get back to the Celsius, Payne's like, a talking cactus? That's fucking insane.
Yeah, she just says,
every-
Spira's a lot bigger than I thought, which is an interesting way of being I can't believe this shit.
I can't believe it. A talking dog. But yeah, that's all we have to do there for now. But it will be a very similar to Final Fantasy X, run around the world, find them, and then, get them back. So
Yeah.
Hot and cold.
Looking forward to it.
Needle time.
do we want to break now or after the next section?
I think our next section will be
like-
a little beefy, so
Yeah, I say we should probably get our affairs in order for this next fucking mini game.
All right. In that case, I will see you all after the break.
don't forget the rest.
what are we doing next? Where are we going?
So we're on the airship.
You say Celsius. Put some respect on its name. Damn. Yeah, but the next place we're going is the Calmlands, right? And there are. It depends on how you look at it. It says that there are 2 missions here, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can either check in on Clasco or check in on the Yojimbo Cave, right? Whatever it was called.
Yeah, the Cavern of the Stolen Faith.
Cavern, that's right.
And if you do go check in on Clasco, like, I'll just say it right now, like, you do need to go check in on Clasco specifically because Shinra's going to put a comm sphere down, and you need to see that to be able to access it in Chapter 4. But if you go talk to him now, he's just running around. He's just, like, running around like crazy.
I didn't even talk to him. I didn't realize until the very end of this part, where, again, just at the very bottom, note, visit the travel agency and the upper floor of the Chocobo Ranch to get comm spheres installed by Shinra, which somehow I managed to see, even though I'm really bad at actually reading this fucking guide and then I complain about it unfairly. But yeah, it was like coming towards the end of like my playthrough for the homework, and I was like, fuck Clasco, I'm not talking to that guy. Does he say anything interesting or?
No, nothing happens. He's just freaking out. And then if you talk to him, you can just buy things from him. So I don't know why it's a mission. Doesn't really need to be a mission.
Maybe just more Chocobo wrangling? I don't know.
Oh, is it a mission?
However,
interesting.
If you go to the travel agency, I didn't notice this until somebody said something on streams. This is for you, Jibbin, if you're listening.
Well, shout out to Jibbin. What a legend.
Did you see the tiny chocobo?
No, I did not.
Tiny baby chocobo?
He's right next to the sphere that Shinra puts down, right?
If you have like a picture of the travel agency, or you can go there right now, go there and like tell me if you see the tiny chocobo, because I was there and I was like, oh, I gotta go all the way back to the gorge. I gotta go back to Clasco's. And Jibbin was in my chat and was like, yeah, just use the little chocobo. And I was like,
fuck,
what? And then he was like, yeah, the little chocobo. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where? I don't see him. Whatever, fuck it, I'll just go use a hover.
He's like basically hiding behind a fence post.
Yeah, he goes, no, it's right there on your screen. And I'm like looking around, I'm running around. He's like, dude, it's right there. And sure enough, it's like behind a fence post, behind some like tape, behind Shinra's comm sphere. There's a very tiny chocobo that will just take you to the chocobo ranch. I had no idea.
God damn. I fucking ran my dumb ass all across the Calmlands. I also didn't even use the hover because I'm a fucking idiot.
I've 100%ed this game like 4 times in my life, and I've never seen that before.
I just turned off encounters and then turned speed ×4 on and just ran.
That's a great idea.
I did turn off encounters with the charm bangle or whatever, and I just slowly made my way everywhere.
Dun, 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 dun. It does sound like Chariots of Fire.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, there's Tiny Chocobo. I never saw him before. But
we do see a mission. If we choose mission 1, it is Fiends in the Gorge Cave.
That's right.
Distress call from the cave down in the gorge. Say, a Fayth used to be down there. Maybe this has something to do with the temple fiends.
You know what? When you arrive here, right? Like pretty much as soon as you arrive at the gorge, there are people all over the place, and like some of them are like on their knees, some of them are laid out, they're all like exasperated and freaked out, and there's people aiming guns at the entrance to the cavern. So like something's going down here, right? And when Yuna walks up, someone says, "Fiends from within the cave. There are still some people trapped inside, and there's nothing we can do to help them." And Yuna has like an inner monologue. She says, "To be honest, I had enough. I wanted to blame them for turning this place..." Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me start over. "To be honest, I'd had enough. I wanted to blame them for turning this place..." I keep saying this. One more time.
I'm just going to drop the clip on.
"To be honest, I'd had enough. I wanted to blame them for turning a place like this into a tourist attraction."
But the people there, they ask Yuna, like, "Please, won't you help us?" And you have an option to say, "All right," or "It's not our problem." Yeah, all right, you. Okay.
It's like, well, Payne did just tell me to stop saying yes to people, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah. But as soon as we say yes, and like the party kind of like squares up to the entrance of the cavern, Buddy runs in and goes, "Oh, you're a friendly neighborhood with gold wings, open for business."
Yeah.
So he's out there like trying to get paid, right?
Yeah, we do a kindly old granny says, "You are most kind."
Yep. But the mission is called Tourist Trap. Rescue the tourists who didn't make it out of the cave. They hold the key to unlocking its secrets. Objective: save the tourists from the fiends. Did you all talk to any of the people outside?
Not really.
Because if you walk like 2 fucking feet, it's like end the mission and fuck
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
Like,
That's true.
So there's like 2 guys that you can talk to. I did not talk to them. I have a lot of problems with this particular mini game. I did have to do it twice, which is also lending to me being salty about it. But yeah, does anyone outside say anything interesting or anything, Curtis?
I didn't talk to them, and I was just thinking to myself, I never came here in the other chapters. Or I guess I did, but I only talked to people.
I've come here in the other chapters, and they're like, "Hey, we're setting something up, but it's not ready yet, so you should come
That's
back
what I mean.
later." Yeah.
Yeah, so we never got to see what it is, right?
No, but there is a before we get to that cutscene, there is like the first NPC that we can talk to talks about how Open Air was trying to turn this into a like little mini game thing, like a tourist attraction called.
Maybe they got those lucky pots and were like, "Hey, we can use these."
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Open Air was all set to kick off their new attraction, Cavern Crawler.
Doesn't sound very open air to me.
You should see the crowd they drew. Then the fiends started appearing out of nowhere. Some of the visitors are still trapped inside. So Open Air drew a lot of people to this very dangerous cave and was just like, "Hey, you come play our fun game and stuff." And now there's a bunch of people who are trapped inside there. Now, if you guys went to like a fun
Spelunking.
Yeah, like you go to a fun event that it's kind of like the Wonka event in Glasgow or whatever, like getting ready to, you're excited and stuff, and then it ends up being horrible. And
like the Wonka event in Glasgow.
yeah, exactly. The unknown is just in the walls trying to get us to eat candy or whatever.
Casting death.
If you were suddenly at a thing that was supposed to be fun and then you got fucking trapped in there, what would happen if someone came to try and help you escape? What would be your reaction as a human being?
Yeah, right. I'd be excited about it. I'd be like,
oh my god, I'm so
great.
happy that the fucking rescue team is here to save me from these horrible fiends that are killing these really strong warriors and are very scary. 3's a crowd. I'm gonna just cower in fear over here.
You've already got 2 people with you, and I don't know about that.
I don't know. I want to get in the way of what you guys got going on.
I'm trapped.
Yeah, right.
I'm trapped in an elevator, and a bunch of people are also trapped in an elevator, and they are escaping and trying to help us out. And I'm like, well, you have too big of a group right now, so I'm just gonna chill here in this fucking elevator.
I'm gonna wait for the
shaft.
next one.
I'll wait until you get rid of some people. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, the mini game here is it's like an interesting logic game. Like, I don't hate the game itself. I just find
not bad,
it very
Hate the player, not the game.
Yeah, it's like there's 15 tourists who are trapped in the Omega Ruins. I had encounters off the whole time. I think when
You
I
said
first
Omega Ruins. That'd be
Oh yeah, not the Omega Ruins. The
That'd be real bad.
That's I think also what I was thinking of too. But the Cavern of the Stolen Fayth. I did when I first started this, I was running around to get a feel for it and see. I don't think the encounter rate is too bad here. But the enemies are pretty nasty. So at
they
one
can
point
be
I was
pretty
just
nasty.
like, yeah, at one point
That's
I was just
for
like, fuck this. For the duration of the minigame, I'm having no encounters because it seems really rough. But you go and you talk to different tourists, and they have eccentricities, right? Is that how you say that word?
Yep.
Where they're a little particular about the way that they get rescued. So, like, for example, one of them is she'll stay in groups of up to 4 people. Once she's in a group, she doesn't care what happens. As long as the 3 of them are together, nothing else matters. Let me see what other... Hates being with people more than 3 people. If he's the first or second in line, he'll stay with any sized group. So you can kind of see where it's going. I think there might be a way to probably like logic this out and get everyone in one sweep.
Yeah, you can.
But that requires a lot of like backtracking, and basically, unless you know the solution or look it up, you would have to go and talk to everyone, and then like it's a fun logic game. So I like was kind of tempted. If I wasn't like on a time crunch, I would have probably maybe tried to do it. But it's also the kind of thing where it's like Yeah, I mean, you don't lose anything for not getting it right the first time, and I don't know if there's any, I was trying to think of how the logic all works and if there's a way to actually miss getting something if you fuck it up, or if you're just like, you just have to do more sweeps each time. Because I thought it was going to get to a point where it's like, I will only be in a group of this many people.
Right, yeah, even though there's like a lot of different, like there's a lot of the eccentricities or whatever, they're all based around like, if there are too many people in your group already, then I don't want to join. Like, they're all based around that. So
It'd be a lot easier if Riku and Pain could also help.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I want to point out. It's also very confusing, the wording of it, because it's like, this person doesn't like a group of 4 or more. And then it's like, okay, well, we have 3 people here in front of us. And I think that's what it means. But it could also, if you look at it a certain way, it could technically be 6 people in our group because we have Yuna, Riku, and Pain. Or it could just because only Yuna is the only one there. It could be, are we already
I don't like to join a group that's already 3 or more, but like,
yeah,
does it include
like,
themselves or not?
I kept like psyching myself out and being like, what the fuck? And I would just be like, well, it's not like you start walking away and then they like bail on you. They just don't move with you. I
just did like 3 trips because I didn't really care. Like I went through like the real way and then like, I'll just turn the encounters off. And then like, by the time it said there was and the guide says there's 2 people left, there was 3. And there's a guy hiding in a corner, like off camera.
That guy took me a while to find. I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh no, I've been found. I'm a goner. And then he's like, oh wait, you're here to help me. Nice.
Oh, he has like a weird kind of way of talking too, if I remember. Is like, I'll rescue you, say, jolly good thing. I've been hiding back here.
I have jolly good thing.
I shan't forget your deeds of valor, except this humble token of my gratitude.
It's awesome.
But also throughout, they're giving us, as we're escorting them to the entrance, they give us like either loot or these things called energy cores, which I think we need to unlock this teleporter to finish this mission, right?
There are 2 important things that they give us, yeah, and one is the energy cores. So if you remember from Final Fantasy X, there were those teleporters that like that were in both Bavel and the Cavern of the Stolen Fayth. They're here as well, but they're shut down. They can't be used, so we can't like teleport all the way back to where Yojimbo is or anything like that. But as they start giving us these energy cores, it turns those on, so we can start using the teleporters to teleport around. Once you've rescued everybody in the Cavern of the Fayth, you have all of them except for one that you need to be able to turn everything on, right? And it turns out that the guy who has the last one is just outside. You have to go outside and talk to a guy. He's like, oh yeah, here you go.
But if you go too far outside, you'll get prompted to, do you want to end the mission?
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right.
Which fucking sucks.
It's really
also,
weird.
If you want to, you just went down the cave back and forth. If you weren't able to turn off encounters like Curtis, that might have sucked a little bit. So you might
That's
think,
why
okay,
I did them all in one trip.
Yeah. So you might be thinking like, okay, well, all right, well, I have to do a lot of backtracking in this area where there can be encounters on, and they can be rough encounters. Let me go and save. There's a save sphere right outside. But if I walk up to it, I get prompted to end the mission because it just does not let you save.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it doesn't. So I was kind of terrified because I was like, I know I'm gonna have to fucking fight Yojimbo. We know the Dark Aeons are a thing here. We know that they're coming back. This is where Yojimbo's from.
Well, no Dark Aeons,
sure.
just normal Aeons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't believe they're not letting me save.
And it's like, it's the kind of thing where it did make the Yojimbo fight much more stressful, which like I can appreciate that. On for what it is, but it's also like the only real thing that it does if you lose is just like, oh, I just feel like I wasted that 15 or 20 minutes that it took for me running all around here. I need to collect all of those items again. Maybe I unlocked a couple of things with AP or whatever. Like it's just a waste of time. So it's
15 or 20 minutes if you have the charm bangler encounters off. For me, it would be like another 45 plus.
Exactly. Like it's like you have to backtrack. You either have to know exactly what you're doing and be like a speed runner who knows how to optimize everything so that you just, and then at that point the mini game is just talking to an NPC. Like I like the idea of the game. I like the structure of the game.
Right.
I think like if it was laid out in like a way like Sphere Break or something where it was just like like text and screens, which essentially is what it is, that would be more fun. But it's like to have to run back and forth. I was like, oh.
what is any RPG but text and screens?
Exactly. It's like I like the game itself, but the way it's presented to us and the fact that you just can't save at all during it.
Right.
is pretty, especially because it's not like, because I was thinking like, no, you will be locked out of it. There will be too many people in a group so that like, but you have to have like the soft spot number of being like, well, I only will join a group of 8 or more people and stuff. And that would be
Luckily,
kinda
there's nothing
interesting.
like that. Yeah.
Nothing like that. Like, so yeah,
But,
just kind of a waste of time.
The other special thing you get as a reward is the Besaid key,
Yes.
which I don't remember if you remember. Way early, I was like,
the first episode early. I
yeah,
feel
like one of the first episodes, like don't talk to this person too much who has the Besaid key or whatever, because maybe it'll get stolen. Maybe you won't see it later.
Right.
So we
I
get
think,
it here.
I think in my first playthrough, my quote unquote first playthrough, in my first attempt at playing through on PS3, back when I was starting to have trouble with streaming that, I did talk to that guy a bunch, and I think I fucked myself out of like the Besaid key like instantly just by wandering around and looking throughout Besaid. So when I actually got to this playthrough of it, I just followed the guide, and I don't even think I interacted with the Besaid key guy.
That's for the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get that here. Somebody gives it to us as a gift. But once all the tourists are out, well, the sentence doesn't make sense. But
yeah.
once 13 of the tourists are out, all the ones we can see, there are 2 left.
Well,
and
we can see 12
use...
of them and the hidden 13th one.
That's right. But there's 2 more who are behind teleports, and they'll only go out by themselves. So we have to like go in and get each of them. But luckily we have the teleport, so it takes 0 minutes to get them.
Unless when you get the teleport, because you immediately can go back to one of the areas. What you could do is accidentally fuck up and just be like, okay, well, let me teleport here, immediately get thrown into a fucking fight with Yojimbo, get through it just by the skin of your teeth, and then realize the mission ends after that fucking difficult battle.
No, and you don't even get everybody.
And then you get the mission complete thing, and it says you saved 13 of the tourists, but there's still 2 missing, and you can't do it. So I had to redo the entire fucking thing again.
Lame.
Like on the first time when I did it, I was like kind of enjoying it. I was like, oh, okay. I did it in 2 sweeps, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. And then I had to do that, and I was like, fuck this minigame.
Yeah, it's lame.
Because you got to make sure you're facing the right direction so that you can unlock one of the loner tourists who's like, oh yeah, no, I'm a loner. I think doesn't he literally say I'm a loner, I'm a rebel?
It does. Yeah. It says a loner, a rebel.
Yeah, so that's got to be a Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
That's what I was thinking,
right?
yeah.
Gaga.
But you're right. Once we do all that, or don't, as the case may be, if we take the teleporter back to the back chamber, like the chamber of the Fayth, right? There is just that big hole that we've seen in all of the other Fayths. And Yojimbo, Dark Yojimbo, is standing there, right? Like kind of floating above the hole.
Is it Dark Yojimbo?
Yes.
Or just normal Yojimbo?
I think it's just regular. In terms of battle, it's like he's just a regular boss that's like difficult, but he's not like a super boss. So I would say it's. I think when you scan him, it just says Yojimbo.
I mean, in the way of like his coloration.
His coloration does look like a dark Yojimbo. Yes.
Oh yeah, it's all faded.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I should mention it here before this fight, because this actually really helped me on my second battle with him. The 2 tourists that are back there, they don't really matter that much. The only thing is that they have 2 nice things that you can get from treasure chests. One of which is the wall ring, which I think gives you SOS wall, which can be helpful in this because you're going to be in SOS status.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to look it up. I forgot what normal Yojimbo looks like. Yeah, it's like the similar color palette to Dark Yojimbo.
Yeah. I think the other chest has like the lightning gleam in it or something like that.
Right.
The one guy does talk like an asshole. He's like, "Oh, I'm the coolest motherfucker ever."
He does say that.
He's got the Riz. He's got
I'm
the
the
sauce.
apex of cool, but sometimes even the apex of cool needs help. So can you help me out?
Yeah. But yeah, so Yojimbo's back there. He prepares to fight us, and Yuna kind of like yells at him and says, like, "Please tell me, why is this happening?" But Yojimbo has a summon, I suppose. Or actually, I guess old Yojimbo could talk, but this one says nothing. And he just prepares his sword and unsheaths it a little bit.
That sword that we've seen so many times before, and now it's fucking terrifying. Now it's not like, let's go. No. It's like, oh, God.
Yep. And we get into a battle with them. What did you all think about this battle?
I liked the battle. I think it would be one of like my more liked battles in this game if it wasn't gated behind a really long fucking tedious mini game with no
I agree.
save.
It's a good battle. It's a well-designed fight. His dog is there.
Yeah, I forget the dog's name. Begins with a
What is
D.
the dog's name?
Guro or something.
Daguro, something like that. Daigoro.
Yeah, Daigoro. Yeah.
But yeah. So the dog's there. Yojimbo's there. The dog is not a target. You can't take him out of the battle.
He just
So
kind
we
of
did it the whole
deals
time.
like 200 damage or like 100 to 200 damage when
Right.
he attacks you.
And I actually like the inclusion of Daigoro in this battle because it makes another thing that Yojimbo does much more dangerous and scary.
Yes.
But in general, though, Yojimbo's not too bad. He uses a move called Wakizashi, where he like whips his sword out and it kind of like creates a like a dust storm in front of him, and it
I
hits
remember that one.
Yeah, it hits a party member for like decent damage, right?
Yeah.
He has a move where he like takes out kunai and throws them at you, and it hits your MP instead.
It hits your MP, and I think it poisons you as well.
And it can poison you.
Poison you.
Which is another fucking terrifying thing for this. So luckily I had my healer in this game typically is Riku. I have her with like Alchemist and maxed out White Mage now. So usually I use Riku for healing. So luckily I had her with the ribbon on, so she was never poisoned for this entire fight, which came in big handy as we were going through it.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of the battle, right? Occasionally Daigoro jumps in, but that's really the only mechanics going on most of the time. He's hitting you with Wakizashi, he's hitting you with the kunai, Daigoro's coming in.
He can reduce your MP by 1/4. Like
yeah. But other than that, it's not too bad. Until the battle goes on long enough and Yojimbo decides to whip out Zanmato, right? Which is fucking terrifying when it happens.
You see the animation start and you're like, I used to love when I saw this animation, and now there's nothing worse I can think of. And I was panicking at first. I was like, does this just mean I lose and have to do that fucking minigame? Because like that's what it does in 10. It's just like a one-hit KO, like you win the battle. And I was like very, very nervous about it. But luckily, it's a little more, I say a little, it is a little bit more forgiving than that, in that it will reduce the party's HP and MP to 1. So you cannot get any healing spells off. You cannot use anything but items, essentially. And if you're poisoned, you might not be very
You're not going to make
unlucky.
it, yeah.
You might be very unlucky with the ATB, and by the time you try using an item, you take a tick of poison damage and just game over.
Right. So so there's poison ticks that'll take you out before you can fucking throw an item, or Daigoro has his ATB ready to go and he just hits you for like 100 HP, but you only have 1, so you're dead anyway.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it's luck or if this is the way his AI is coded, but I think he used Zamato twice on me, and I believe both times he did the MP reduction move right afterwards instead of Wakizashi.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. He did the move to me a lot, and it was very rare where I was in a situation where I was like likely to get a game over, because I also was just like, as soon as that happened to me and I realized, I was like, okay, well, Riku's job in this fight is to just be the alchemist to pop a high potion or a mega potion immediately anytime he's doing that, so that we don't all die.
So the problem here, of course, right, is that like I was like, I'll make Riku my alchemist, no problem. Oh, that's right, I forgot to buy potions. I don't have any.
Oh my god!
So it was like high potion. I had to like high potion like herself.
That's so fucking scary.
Yeah, 1 or 2 characters would die. I'd get them back up, and luckily I made it through. Like it gives you enough time to res everybody and potion them up if you need to, and neither of their like normal physical attacks really do that much damage, so you're like safe-ish the whole time.
Yeah,
but
you can also steal some gil from him. I stole 1660 from him, which is pretty good, because I'm like, this motherfucker's just lousy with gil. Do you know how much fucking gil I had to give this asshole?
I know, to get him on our side. What
It'd be very funny if you stole enough gil he couldn't use Zamato.
Oh, that would be really funny.
Were you there in Ashwin's stream when she was like just butting up against Seymour Flux, and everyone's like, yeah, just fucking have Yojimbo do it, and then like she somehow, like the first time ever using Zamato, just like one hit KO.
Yeah, that was very, very sick.
And
that
the
rocked.
chat was fucking exploded.
Everyone was going nuts.
Wait, I'm sorry, this is just something I just Googled. So at the beginning of the movie Yojimbo, there is a dog who walks through the town holding a severed human hand.
Awesome.
Is that supposed to be Daigoro? No,
I would
that can't be.
imagine. I would imagine.
I don't know. Anyway, we'll look it up later.
I've seen a lot of Kurosawa films, but I don't know if I've seen that one.
The one thing I remember about the movie Yojimbo is it's the one where the bad guy has a gun. And he's like the only person in town with a gun.
It's the only movie where a bad guy has had a gun.
Well, the thing is, in that movie
that time,
specifically, it's like guns are nowhere to be seen. Like nobody owns one or whatever because they're like really rare and really expensive. And so the guy who owns the gun is like super attached to it, but he's also like super high on power because he's like, I have a fucking gun.
Yeah, that's why Yuna was given a gun in this game to further reference Yojimbo.
That's right. Absolutely.
She's so powerful with her gun.
Okay, I'm thinking of Throne of Blood. There's a shit ton of arrow stuff.
Arrow.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
Where the fucking, like, imagine you, the star of this film, having to, like, yeah, just, like, move here and then there. We promise not to hit you with these arrows. That we're fucking firing you.
It's like the radioactive man. Like, it's now that's real acid, people. It's just like, we just to make it more authentic, we did put the tips of the arrow in poison. So if you do get hit, you will fucking die.
But yeah, after we beat Yojimbo, Riku's standing or she's like kneeling over the hole, and she's like, "Hello, is anybody down there?" And Pain says, "Careful, someone might answer." And you get like kind of a zoom out of the hole, and the scene fades out. I mean, importantly, while we're getting that cutscene, we see that there's a treasure chest in there, and then like it does in LeBlanc's in her mansion or whatever.
Hole,
yeah. The cutscene ends and it pulls us out of the cavern before we can get it, so we have to go back if we want to get it.
Now, I, for one, felt like I didn't spend enough time, as I would have liked to, running back and forth through this fucking cave. So I am glad that they decided to, put a treasure chest there that we would have to go. And I did not know about the Chocobo and the travel agency, so when I got to the Calm Lands, I just had to fucking walk my happy ass back to the fucking exit.
Thankfully for me, there's two dudes locked in there, and they're just never going to be seen again because I killed Yojimbo, I guess.
Yeah, and it doesn't literally they don't matter. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that counts to 100% of having to save them or anything. So fuck it. And even if it does, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? The game teleports us outside. We get a little congratulations and thanks from that old lady, right? And
thanks for saving most people.
Thanks for giving it an honest try.
And it'll say some version of "you've saved everyone" or "you saved 13 people" or whatever.
Yeah, I promise we won't be doing business here anymore. And I have my screenshot. Rescued 13, missed 2.
Oh no.
Same.
And then we get the experience in the guild for Yojimbo, and we receive a recovery bracer for beating him as well.
More importantly,
and
the
Tetra Master.
Yeah,
oh, that's right.
Tetra Master. We can finally play some cards. We're only a couple episodes away from unlocking the triple triad.
Yeah, I can't wait. Tetra Master, the card game that is dog shit, but now I love it. So
yeah, I don't remember it enough. I remember not liking it as much as Triple Triad and not really understanding it. But
imagine that you were playing the most simple of card games, right? Mm-hmm. Where it was like you and I will put down a card, and the bigger number will win. Except sometimes you'll lose for no reason.
Okay, so Triple Triad with some of the like random rules.
Well, imagine if there was no rule. Imagine if the game just told you, like, put down the bigger number, you'll win. Except for, like, 1 out of 8 times for no reason. And there's no way you could possibly know that it's going to happen. And it ruins your entire strategy and you lose all your cards. Don't worry about it.
So it's like the fucking Smash Brothers Brawl, where it's just like your character trips for no reason.
Yeah, right. So, it's good. It's good. Good game. But now I love it, though. I've come around on it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Anyway, back on the board of the Celsius, Riku says she swears she could hear something moving at the bottom of the hole. And then if you talk to Pain, she says, please. Nothing's going to hear from all the way down there.
Yeah.
I interpreted it like we're just going to kill Riku and nothing's going to hear her scream. It's like no one will ever have to know.
Yeah, no one will hear her from down there.
I feel like it's kind of out of character for Pain as well, because she's like, Riku, you have such a big fucking mouth, shut the fuck up. And she's like, no one's going to hear her from all the way down there. It's like, I don't know.
So next, for the 100%, this is just for completion, we should go to Bavel to see Shinra place a comm sphere.
Yes.
There's nothing to do here. There's not even a cutscene. There's not even like a cutscene where they turn us away.
You hear
or anything
Shinra
like that.
walking and you see him place
Squeaker.
Yeah.
No.
I heard that at one point. I think it might have been at the travel agency near Rin's or whatever, and I was like, "What the fuck is that noise?"
Yeah,
I think that's like what triggered the cutscene of Owaka like running out and being like, "Oh," like all upset and stuff. Because
That's where
like,
I heard it too, and I couldn't
I was
find
like,
them.
"What is that?" And it wasn't until later when I saw him in the Chocobo Ranch, walking around. I'm like, "Oh, that's what that noise was." Okay.
Right.
Pretty good design to be like, okay, if you hear Shinra walking, you know that the comm sphere is being placed.
Don't move. But I just like talked to some folks in Bavel since I was here. I haven't really been here since we raided the castle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. The youths believe that rumor that the Aeons have reappeared. Who could have started that one, eh?
Yeah.
The guy who's guarding like the entrance into Bavel is like, oh, this isn't we're like in disarray right now because of New Yevon like falling apart or whatever. Like, it's not good for like a summoner to see it. We would be embarrassed. Don't come in. I'm like, but I forget what I tried getting back into Bavel for. I think it was like the treasures that I missed in or no. I wanted to try and grind some gil there by fighting some of those bosses. That like the one that we had to fight over and over and over again until it was oversold.
That's right. Yeah.
In that puzzle, I was like, that's a good way to grind gil apparently, but like I couldn't get in there. I was like, fuck. But yeah.
Fucking door.
I think Shinra says fucking door, it's magic locked. I think Shinra says something about like, oh, this comm sphere will be really good for reconnaissance, and it's like, okay.
You place it right in the center of like the most
he's like,
obvious location.
they'll never know that we're listening to them from here.
Buddy says this town's still bent out of shape.
But next,
I do like that on the Celsius. Riku says, well, the Gullwings would be just fine if we lost our leader. Who needs them?
Yeah, that's really good. She said that, and I was like, damn, that's harsh. Like, Yuna's right there. And I'm like, oh, right, Yuna's not technically the leader.
Right.
Like,
but Payne says, like, fucking based, organizations that rely on one person to do everything aren't organizations at all.
boom, got him.
yeah, tell that to my
Queen.
fucking job.
But yes, off to Gagazet
Off to Gagazet we go.
to plant some more spheres.
Hopefully, all the good advice that we've given to the Ronso over the last 2 chapters, where we're
Stoking
like,
fear in the minds of many a Ronso, I'm sure, has not backfired.
Yeah, just like
yeah,
inciting a riot, inciting a coup amongst those who do not think Kamari
just so we
is
can
cool.
go in and scoop and save the day. Sounds
yeah. Remember when we were at the Mount Gagazet and we were like, yeah, the Guado should pay. I agree. You're right.
Yeah, you're
Fuck
right
them.
about wanting to kill them all. That's good of you.
the only
Love
good
that.
Guado is a dead Guado. You're correct.
Yeah,
You're
just
correct.
like
Yeah,
the
I
fucking
agree, I
worst
agree.
shit. Yeah.
So we show up and Garrick is leading the
Shinra's
Rons.
setting up a comm sphere here, luckily, and we
That's
can talk
true.
to him, and he says that his tech laughs at the cold. Really proud of this shit. I fucking hate Shinra. But yeah, we get into a cutscene with Kamari, and he's just kind of stoically looking up towards the mountain.
Yeah, no one
and
else
he's-
was around except him and his wife.
Perhaps.
Yuna must leave. Ronso youth use force, seek vengeance for fallen Ronso. Garrick lead angry Ronso youth, decide to take revenge on Guado. Garrick go to battle. Now Garrick climb peak, tell mountain battle plan.
And you're just gonna wait here?
So he's consulting with the mountain.
He's consulting with the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Kamari just kind of explains how, like, yeah, he's gonna hear the voice of the mountain, and it's gonna change his mind, and and he says Kimari hopes so. Like, he's not sure, but he's like, yeah, of course, like. The mountain, whatever is said on the mountain, that's mountain law, baby. No
That's
one
right.
would ever
If the
disregard
mountain says
what the
go for it, then it's probably the right thing to do. You know?
It's my turn to hold the box, maybe? The box says no.
Payne does say, like, what if he doesn't listen to the mountain? What if he does continue on?
Yeah,
And Kamari says, then Kamari will stop the Ronso youth.
Yeah, and Yuna's like, that's fucking crazy. And Kamari's like, dude, I got no choice. Kamari, give Yuna something. And we can see that he's holding a sphere. But yeah, he says, Kimahri search mountain, but find only sphere. And he hands it to us and says, Kimahri not know if found sphere is one Yuna seek, but Kimahri happy if sphere help Yuna. And we get the trainer dress sphere, which I didn't even look at all.
Kimahri, you're going to be disappointed because the trainer dress sphere not going to help Yuna. I'm going to be real with you, fam.
This is
going to be real with you, homie.
And this is the sphere we got because we said all the quote-unquote correct options in the last 2 chapters, right?
Right. So, you remember how, like... you know how the Dark
If the player
Knight...
answered Kimahri's concern correctly in Chapter 2. What a fucking stupid way of putting that. That is not how that works.
So, you know how, like, the Dark Knight dress sphere is really good, but it has that really long wind-up time. Like, when you attack, you have to, like, really wait for him to swing that giant sword around, right? It takes, like, a little bit of time to kind of swing the sword. What if there was a physical attacking class that took, like, 4 times longer to swing their attack than the Dark Knight dress sphere? And also, it did like 1/8 the damage of the Dark Knight dress sphere. How do you feel about that as a dress sphere? That'd be pretty good, right?
Sounds pretty good.
But this is like the monster taming dress sphere, right? And Yuna has Dogoro, right?
Yeah, Yuna has Daigoro. So each of YRP have a like an assistant animal with them,
a familiar.
And I would like to point out, actually, so I just read it. Yuna does not have Daigoro. She has Kogoro, which is funny because Dai means big and Ko means like childish or small. So,
yeah, the Ko-Rilakuma.
Yeah. Riku has a monkey. That seems seems right for her.
She said the classic line. Yeah, she said the classic line that we all know and love.
That's right. And then Pain has like a falcon, which is awesome. Like, that's sick as shit.
Yo, that's sick.
So they're cool. Like, it's a cool dress sphere as far as like style goes, but usefulness, not so much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably use cases for it, or it might be fun to play around with. But we're also pretty deep into the game for like just completely altering your play style for something that's not just like, oh, I do way more attack damages here, or I get to roll dice and do some cool shit.
Right. Like there are some decent auto abilities, but I don't think that they're like, because this game, you can only have the auto abilities when you're in that dress sphere. It doesn't like translate well to a like party battle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like in Final Fantasy V, when your jobs got leveled up enough, you could take the abilities that you learned during the course of that job and then apply them to other jobs. So you could kind of combine them, right? So for instance, the trainer dress sphere has HP and MP stroll, where you get HP and MP back for walking around. You also get half MP cost, which is something that could be cool with
if
like
used with,
the Black Mage.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, with trainer, it's not as good, right? And then there's like the animal skills. They have like elemental skills that do damage. They have like a cure that heals you or whatever. It kind of like puts I guess maybe the appeal is that it makes the character kind of an all-rounder, where they can do some healing, they can do some damage, they can like, everybody has a bit of everything.
It's
but they're not
interesting.
that good at anything though. So
yeah, the other thing about that too is it's like that's kind of also the role of garment grids, because there's a bunch of garment grids that like I haven't even used at all really, but it's like, oh, with this garment grid you can unlock better healing spells, or you can do like this sort of thing, or you can have this type of like proof from an elemental thing.
Right.
So I guess having it all in one package can be useful, but yeah, I kind of see it also as just like if you get bored, if you've maxed out the AP on one thing, it might be fun to play around with this one. Like, I would love more instances to play around with it, but I feel like this game isn't going to have enough, unless I guess I do the creature creator shit of just like playing around with it to a point where I get to see the viability of something.
I agree. Two things that I do want to point out is that Geeky, the monkey that Riku has, does have cheer. So it's Titus's move. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, nice. Titus was also very geeky, as we know.
That's right. And then I like Payne's animal, Flurry the falcon, its final move. So you know how like we're the gull wings? Its final move is called maul wings, like mauling them or whatever.
Nice.
But that's a nice little name for it. But other than that though, that's my opinion. Is that I don't think the trainer dress sphere is very good. But I don't want to like
poo it,
hate on it too much that like you all or people who are listening aren't going to give it a shot, because like maybe there is something really nice about it that I just don't realize, right? But for my money,
yeah, I like the look of it as well.
The look of it's cool. I like it. I like that Riku has like the sleeves that are like too long for her arms. And
it's a nice little touch.
It feels like they have the padded outfits that you would do for like train like cop dogs. These fucking like.
Yeah, kind of.
If you go to like a falconry place and they're like, you want to hold the falcon, they give you that like massive fucking glove, like the like blacksmith.
Yeah, the big
glove.
Yuffie glove.
Yeah.
I played around with them a little bit, but the thing that like killed me was just like, especially for Riku, when you click attack, you have to wait for the monkey to kind of like jump off of Riku, hit the ground. There's a moment where it kind of like gets its footing, and then it walks over to the fucking. It's like remember how like Lulu's normal attack had like the doll walking over to the enemy.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that, but this game is in active time. Like things are going while you're waiting for it to walk over, and then the monkey has to jump on top of the enemy, then hit them, then bounce off, then run back, and then your ATB can start again. So like I've already done multiple turns with other characters in the amount of time I've been waiting for this one attack to happen. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, for me, this kind of thing is definitely like, I would like to play a modded version of this game where, like in the Souls games, they have the convergence mods, which makes like certain builds or certain weapons available earlier, and you can kind of changes like the viability of some stuff and the scaling of some stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, this end game weapon, you can actually start with it and play through it in a way that's not completely broken to give you a better feel for it. It's like I would like to do something like that with Final Fantasy X too, of just like trying different dress spheres like from the early game to see how they do and try and find viable ways, like making it kind of more of a puzzle. It's like, well, how do I beat this boss with the trainer dress sphere?
I mean, you can kind of do that in the way that slight New Game Plus spoilers. If you don't want to hear them, skip ahead 15 seconds. I'll be really quick about it. When you New Game Plus, you do lose all your levels, but you keep all your dress spheres.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
So you may be able to go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, then, I feel like that's really nice.
All right. No more spoilers. We're back. Yes. So, yeah, Riku says, like, oh, Yuna, this is not good. You know what Garrick's getting ready to do. And Yuna's like, we're going to go up. Or, well, I mean, it gives us an option, right? It says, like, should we go after them? And if you say yes, then Yuna says, we're going up. Maybe we can reason with him.
Listen, if I know the Ronzo like I know the Ronzo, like the game has been beating into my head, this is a Ronzo problem. Let Kimahri handle it. We're not gonna go up a mountain. Who needs 100%?
Everyone's saying they shouldn't rely on Yuna too much. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The game is telling us not to fucking do this. But yes, we say let's go. I also like in my screenshot here, I can see fucking dork ass Shinra just sitting in the corner, fucking with his gizmo back there, just setting it up like.
But yeah, once we're ready to go, we get a mission start, and it says, Battle Blockade. Garrick, in his hatred of the Guado, has decided to launch an attack. Meet him on the summit of Mount Gagazet and stop him, by force, if that's what it takes. Objective, stop Garrick's attack. Who could have done this? Who could have put the idea in Garrick's head that it was a good idea to fight the Guado? Who would have come up with such a terrible idea? I can't think of who.
Who shot Hannibal?
Yeah, who shot Hannibal? Who did this? Oh, we gotta do that as a meme. Remind that for later. To post on the Twitter.
I also like that when you talk to Kimahri, he says, like, if Yuna go, Kimahri think Garrick will listen, maybe. If not, Kimahri deal with Garrick. And it's like, no. None of that's going to happen. We're going to talk to him. He's not going to agree with Yuna. And then Yuna's going to have to kick the shit out of him. Like, we're just doing Kimahri's job for him.
Wasn't Garrick in, like, another Guado? Not Guado. Another Ronso, a boss in 10 at one point?
Yeah, wasn't Garrick.
It was
Genki or something like that.
Biran and Yankee.
Yeah, Biran and Genki. Yeah.
Yankee, yeah.
But either way.
Anyway, so this mission...
The teleporter.
Yeah, I was going to say, luckily, as we know, Mount Gagazet has that teleporter.
Has a great transit system.
oh no, fucking Garrick disabled it, because of course he fucking did. He's an asshole. And I hate him because I fucking hate Mount Gagazet. I wasn't even getting random encounters, and I could not find this fucking guy at all because the game says, go to the summit. And in my dumb guy knowledge of what a summit is, it means the highest point of a mountain, perhaps, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? So I kept going up, and I made it to the fucking ruins that are at the top of the Mount Gagazet. That was
I didn't even know there was a way you can get up there. I was like, oh, cool, that storm is gone now. That must be the way we're supposed to go.
That's what I thought, too. I was like, it was stopping us last time. Let me go all the way up here. Oh, this is the elevator from the first mission. Interesting. Seems kind of weird that Garrick would be all the way up here. And Curtis was actually streaming while I was doing this, and he like got past this, and I was just like, dude, I cannot find Garrick anywhere. Where the fuck is he?
Yeah, he is.
I did have to look up a guy that was like, oh, it's to where we fought like the Sanctuary Keeper or whatever.
That's right.
That was up at the top.
Yeah, I also like how anything in Final Fantasy X-2 that I've looked up always talks about it in terms of Final Fantasy X, where it's like, just go to this part where it would normally lead to Xanarkand. And I'm like, I don't fucking remember that. That was so long ago when I played Final Fantasy X. I don't remember.
Yeah, I definitely like had to look around for a while. I also didn't remember
your way
exactly
of describing
where
it to me actually really helped, Curtis. You're like, do not interact with the Final Fantasy X-2 mechanic of climbing shit. Don't do that. When you get to that part,
I was like, it's the highest point you can get to without climbing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, So I found the cave almost immediately after Curtis told me that.
It's really misleading saying the summit, and also because like on our way up there are like droves of Ronso kind of making the trek, and then they just kind of stop showing up.
Right, that doesn't help at all either.
Once you're past the first screen, or I guess to say the screen that you fight Seymour Flex on,
that's right,
they just stop appearing, so you have no idea if you're going the right direction or not.
It's also super fucking windy. Was it always this windy? Was it this windy in 10?
Yeah,
it was
and
windy.
I just don't remember. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though. It's like the singles, there's a couple screens, but the couple screens where it would actually help to show the Ronso walking so you knew where you were going are the only screens they're not walking on. They only show them walking in like the...
Not a single fucking Ronso was there to say, hey, I'm walking in.
Yeah. But
yeah, I guess diegetically it does make sense that this is the summit, because I think the ruins weren't in Final Fantasy X. I think that's like, didn't they like become a thing and only in Final Fantasy X-2? So it's like that is above the summit. Like I was just frustrated from a gameplay perspective, but it does make sense that like this is the summit of the mountain.
I think we talked about this a little bit in our Final Fantasy X season, that when you fight the Sanctuary Keeper, you can see Xanarkand. You're clearly going down the mountain. You're like almost out of the mountain at this point.
We're going around the bend of like the summit of that is publicly accessible, it feels like.
Yeah. So it's
like this is if we were driving, this would be the summit.
Yeah, I guess so.
This car has climbed Mount Gagazet.
But also before we fight Garrick, do take a stop. Do actually climb up the mountain toward where the new Gagazet portion is to visit the hot springs, because Shinra will be placing a calm sphere there, and we do want to see that.
Yeah, I think.
Don't forget to turn the teleporter back on.
That's true.
Yeah,
as you walk,
just
you can
stand on the
teleporter
and it can take you back to the mountain gate and activate it.
You know what else is up there when you actually start the climbing section? There is a sculptor up there who is creating a statue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if you talk to them, they're like, creating a statue, sculpting is much better for anger than going to war or something like that. They're like,
yeah, they're basically saying like they're which I think is that like a Buddhist kind of mindset or something, or am I just thinking I played Sekiro?
I mean, it's a good mindset, yeah, to be constructive instead of destructive.
I played Sekiro way too recently, but there's the sculptor character, and his whole thing is he's like always been enraged. He's like formerly a shinobi, and like the only thing that he can do to keep his rage at bay is sculpt. But every time he tries to sculpt a Buddha for it, it has the face of wrath on it, and he's just like
the demon of hatred.
Yes. Sekiro spoilers, I guess, but whatever.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I feel like even if you played through it, you might not even realize any of that. But yeah.
Right. So yeah. Once we do all that, we can finally find Garrick at the quote-unquote, the so-called summit, I suppose.
Yeah. The alleged summit.
The alleged summit. And he sees Yuna there, and he says, Ronso, hold anger no longer. Ronso youth fearless, go to battle with Guado. And Yuna says, and if I ask you not to go. And I like Garrick says, Garrick, not listen. Garrick, cover ears. It's very silly. And she says, then I must stop you. And she pulls a fucking gat on him.
I fucking love the animation of Yuna just pulling a gun.
It's really good.
That shit is so fucking funny. Then I must stop you. It just reminds me of in fucking Always Sunny, the play where like Danny DeVito's like the troll or whatever, and he's just like, then I will stop you, and he like takes out the gun. And he's like, what is that? He's like, what you think it is, bitch? It just immediately shoots Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I also like she always closes her left eye when she aims the
it's so
gun
good.
too.
It's
really
so fucking sick, dude.
She's only been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
Why, Summoner, defend Guado? Why? Who punished Guado if Ronso not go?
I don't care about your defending or your punishing.
And I'm like, you're the one who told him to do it.
It's the fucking scene from The Fugitive. Like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Millhouse just falls out of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, she just says, she says, I don't care about your defending or your punishing. I just don't want to see Kamari looking sad. The same goes for all Ronso and the Guado too. Garrick says, Summoner not stop Garrick with empty words. And she says, if I can stop you, will you forget this talk of vengeance? And he says, very well. Garrick swear to mountain. And then Riku's like, yeah, I figured it was going to come to this. And Payne's like, yeah, at least he cut to the chase. And a Ronso youth appears next to him as all this is going on. And he says, High Summoner Yuna, see true Ronso strength.
And then you get into a battle with Garrick and a Ronso youth. And if you have a character who is a Dark Knight, you fucking churn through them like fucking butter.
You win.
You rip them apart. Because, like, the thing is, both of them will cast Protect, right? And then eventually Garrick will cast Shell on himself. Mm-hmm. Darkness ignores both of those things and just does, like, over 1,000 damage. And so I had to, like, gunner Yuna. I'm just spamming on Trigger Happy. Bow, 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 bow. She gets, like, a 15 chain, and then Darkness hits and does like 4,000 damage to both of them.
Rocks.
Just immediately kills the Ronso youth, and like 2 attacks later, Garrick's out of here.
I think that is the canonical way to defeat Garrick is just have Yuna shooting him like crazy.
Yeah,
it works so well with the cutscene.
I like, you know what? I didn't think about it until you said something like an episode or 2 ago where you're like, yeah, I think the reason for Trigger Happy is to build chain. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And so like since then I've just been like hammering, like I'll just like hit Darkness and then immediately Trigger Happy and just go like, bah, 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 and hit like Darkness just hits everybody for so much fucking damage.
I've been doing the same thing with Yuna, but with Lady Luck and the 2 dice. Move, which isn't as good as Trigger Happy. I feel like it's not as consistent or probably doesn't like, I don't know. It seems like it doesn't work all that well for that specific thing, but it's a lot more fun to me to do that.
Sure,
so I've just been doing that, and I'm like, I love how just in my brain, Yuna, like in Final Fantasy X, I just made Yuna a Dark Knight or a Black Mage immediately, by teaching her Black Magic. And in this one, it's just like I made her like the bad influence friend who is just constantly shooting guns and rolling dice and gambling and shit. I'm just like, damn, Yuna's cool as hell.
Dude, I can't wait until we get the dresser where she smokes weed.
Yeah, that's the loiter dress sphere, and blaze it is the technique that you can use on it.
Speaking of which, today is 4/22, so happy birthday, weed! 2 days ago.
Yeah,
incredible.
Everyone's real proud of you, weed.
Everybody post happy birthday, weed in the chat.
So, by the way, if we did not come to Gagazet for the last 2 chapters, this conversation actually goes a lot differently, and the fight's a little different. So if Yuna says, and if I ask you not to go, if you did not talk to the Ronso, chapters 1 or 2, Garrick, instead of saying, I will cover my ears, he says, Mountain tell Ronso to go. And Yuna says, what if you can't go? And then she pulls out the gun.
Okay.
And then
that's sick, dude.
And he says, Summoner not hold Ronso anger with puny arms. And Yuna says, but if I do, you will stop this talk of vengeance. Very well.
That's interesting.
But Garrick never fail. And then Rico says, somebody's a few spheres short of a Garmin grid. Payne says, typical Ronso. And Rico says, good point, but I was talking about Uni. And then it's like, high summer unit, no true Ronso anger. And then you fight Garrick and 2 Ronso youths.
Interesting. So probably a little harder. Nothing. Darkness hits all enemies. That's the same fight as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's interesting that the one line where Garrick says, Mountain said it was okay for Ronso to go in that case, right?
Yeah.
Because as we're getting ready to see, like, let's go ahead and get into this scene afterwards.
Yeah, we finished the battle. It's not really too difficult. And Garrick says, High Summoner Yuna, see true Ronso, or Ronso keep word. He's kind of holding his chest a little. He said, Yuna defeat Garrick in battle. Garrick honor Yuna's wish, not go to battle. Yuna says, thank you. He says, Garrick not need thanks. Mountain was right. Garrick spoke to Mountain of plan, but Mountain silent. Gagazet no, Garrick wrong. Garrick go against will of Mountain if Yuna not stop him. Garrick grateful to Yuna. So basically, the Mountain told him, like, don't fucking do this. Like, we spread enough propaganda the perfect amount of ways. We did enough psyoping of the Ronso people. And
the Mountain was like, do not trust Yuna. Whatever she says, do not go with that.
Yeah. So we for whatever reason, that made the Mountain just silent. And that's I really like that. I
do too.
I don't know what it's. That's
the alternate timeline version is very less satisfying because when Garrick says,
we're your sacred Mountain. You should actually go against what it says. And
yeah. So Garrick says after Garrick says Garrick no need thanks. Garrick underestimate Yuna. Garrick now understand he is weak in battle. Garrick wait destroy Guado after he become better warrior.
Oh, okay.
It's like, wait, what?
He's like, cool, I won't fight Guado yet because I am a fucking weakling.
I will go and train. I'm going to go sit under the waterfall in the spring and train up and put on weighted clothes. But we also get a new garment grid after that battle, which is the Wish Bringer, which I did not look into at all.
It gives you HP recovery skills. For equipping it, you get HP scroll and the ability to use regen.
Nice.
If you traverse the dots on it or whatever, you'll get the ability to use Kiraga and auto regen.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Oh, and its image is Beacon L.
Okay, weird, but sure.
I do like the camera work in this cutscene too, as like Garrick is looking into like this night sky.
I agree.
Yeah. He's looking very wistfully and saying he's grateful.
And then we're back on the Celsius, and Rico says, "I say we pounded Gagazet back into shape."
Yeah. And Payne says, something tells me we haven't stopped Garrick for good. The rest will have to leave to Kamari, which is a nice fitting thing because, again, Ronso are very much like, this is a Ronso thing. Like, you have to stay out of it. So ultimately, I think Kamari will be the one to make sure everything stays good.
Right. And then the last place that I guess we'll... Did you go to the next place, Carl?
I did, yeah.
Okay. The next place we'll visit and the last one for today will be Xanarkand. There's no mission in Xanarkand, but the description says, the fiends that attacked all the other temples seem to be leaving this place alone. The monkeys, on the other hand, are out of control, which I guess means they're just doing it everywhere.
Yeah.
I was expecting to be a lot more monkeys when it came back here.
Yeah, just... I think it's the same amount of monkeys. They're just
they haven't...
They're just indecent. There are some, like... quote unquote, I guess, tourists or whatever. There's just people who are milling around. It's like without the crowds, it's almost as if the ruins belong entirely to us. Yeah. And some people are like, want to build a house there.
I want to build a house here. Let's gentrify Xanarkand. Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Yeah. The dome may be having major monkey trouble, but at least the view from here is still breathtaking. This is spectacular. I could stand here forever. I'm also noticing there's like a shooting star in this screenshot that I got. That's kind of nice. Shinra's like right here setting up a comm sphere, so we don't really have to worry about that later. He says that it's not ready yet, but the fun comes later. He. He always says he after setting up a comm sphere.
He's a fucking creep.
The lady who's dancing and like selling shit at the start, like at the very entryway of Xanarkand, says Isaru says he might have to close the dome for a while, but like no tourists will come if they can't get into the dome. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point.
Did you guys notice that on the screen before you approach the the screen where you would see the airship, you can actually see the head of the shop lady?
Oh, really?
In the very far distance.
I looked for the airship, but I didn't see her. No.
I don't think so. No, I didn't notice that.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me just zoomed in right here. And boom. Like I was like, what the hell is that? And I realized like it's her head. Like, for consistency's sake, they just
That's really good.
just all the way in the distance, right at the.
Oh my god, I see it. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, oh shit, there's the first monkey. There's gonna be everywhere.
One of the cactuar.
Cactuar, yeah.
You think it's a really small monkey, but as a small monkey very close to you, but as you get closer to it, it's a very big monkey very far away from you. Oh no!
You know what I did see here on the way inside the Xanarkin Dome was, have you fought one of the Ironsides?
I have not, because I was heavily relying on my charm bangle.
So they're an enemy from Final Fantasy X inside Sin. Like when we actually went inside Sin or whatever, there's an enemy called Ironside, and they are here now. And they're the enemy that's like armored, and they open up their chest to like do a big beam attack or whatever that like kills all your party members, and so you only have a little while to do HP damage to them. They're kind of similar in this one, but every physical attack they do brings your HP to 1.
Jesus
so it's like,
fucking Christ.
Yeah, it's real rough. And they're not slow either. They're just like,
what are
boom,
they,
1
are
HP.
called?
Boom, 1 HP.
Ironside?
Ironside.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they look like. No, I did notice that one of the ladies selling shit, though, has some pretty good fucking equipment. She has the mystery veil, which raises magic defense by 40. I think like the closest to that I've had so far is like 10.
This is the shopkeeper lady out front.
Yeah.
I'm about to go there now.
Also has diamond gloves, which raises defense by 40.
Oh, about to buy that now.
Gold bracer, which raises max MP by 60%. And titanium bangle, which is HP by 40.
Wow, she does have some good stuff.
Oh, yeah, dude, I definitely remember these things, yeah. The Ironsides are scary.
Yeah, they're here and they're assholes. They have a lot of HP, too.
Yeah, fuck that. I might go back and just, like, fight some fiends in these areas, because it's, I didn't get the full feel of it. I mean, there's not really a mission here, so yeah, we just got to go and talk to Isaru, right?
Yeah, and you know what else we haven't done this whole time too? Obviously, there's like a ton of different fiends, and like we fought most of these in Final Fantasy X, but what there wasn't in Final Fantasy X are the fiend tails. We haven't been talking about any of the fiend tails, but this is like something that was added to the international version later. But once you get the fiends and you fight enough of them, and I think if you use them in the fiend arena, I'm not exactly sure how you get them. You get to like have a little story about each one where you learn about that fiend and like where it's from and like legends about it and stuff like that. And like they all have them. But there's a lot of them, so we haven't really been going through them.
We should maybe do like a special episode on that or something.
We could like read all of them and then like just pick out ones that we especially like or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be worth me kind of going through and trying to get some of them, because I remember getting the fiend tail item. I think it was somewhat recently, and I just did not even look into what that was. But
right, same. Yeah, I haven't looked at any of them.
But yeah, we can get some items along the way. There's like some high potions, some Phoenix Downs, some S-bombs. But Isaru is just like right outside of like the I guess like the inside of the dome. Like he's in the entryway where all the staircases are.
Yeah, there's a lot of chests here that are now sealed, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of treasure suddenly.
I think if you go back to any area in any chapter, like treasure chests that you've already opened will have new stuff in them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. But a lot of it, like there's been probably a bunch of times where I grabbed shit and I was like, oh, okay. But it
makes sense since we have to like revisit these locations.
Yeah. Right, yeah, it's a pretty interesting mechanic.
But yeah, so Isaru's like, oh, I've heard that fiends have been appearing at the temples. Do you know anything about this? And Yuna's like, oh, yeah, they're coming from the chambers of the Fayth. And Isaru says, it pains me to hear that. And Pain asks about Xanarkand, and he says, there are fiends as always, but no more and no fewer.
No more, no less.
But the ruin tours are another matter. The only things thriving here are the monkeys. To make matters worse, Sid ran off a while ago and hasn't come back. And like I was like shouting at the screen. I was like, he's at the Thunder Plains. He's right over there. Just go to the Thunder Plains.
He's so close, Isaru. Fucking.
I mean, we told him to go fucking kick dirt or something, right?
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. All this is our fault.
But he says,
"Yeah, good. Intentionally. This is what we wanted to happen.
Yeah. This is actually
we wanted them to stop exploiting these holy ruins.
This holy blitzball stadium.
Yeah."
He says, I guess that makes me Xanarkand's lone defender. Well, time to do some defending. Until next time. And then he walks off. And then I went through the rest of Xanarkand and picked up items. There's some decent items in there.
Yeah,
so.
the remedies, the lunar curtains, the mana springs, 2,000 gil.
Ooh.
Pretty nice. We can give that right back to Wawaka with his new wares.
That's true. I need to go buy potions. Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think there's really much else at Xanarkand.
That's all I got. That's all I got for this entire episode.
Yeah, I just made my way into the elevator, risking the fact that it might trigger a cutscene or some shit that locks me out of something. But I just wanted to get to that save sphere, save the game, and get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out of there. All right. Well, that's all I. You have anything else you want to say about this section of game?
No, it's pretty good.
It's a hoot. I'm glad we got 2 dress spheres.
We did get 2 dress spheres, which owns. One of them really good.
I think that means we only have 2 left to get.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, so let's see here. What can we expect to do next time? I think next time we can start doing some of the hotspots. Like we're almost done with Chapter 3. Now, if you are like me and you're following along with the podcast, first of all, sorry you haven't played Final Fantasy X-2 in like a month and a half. But second, this is a good time to roam the world again and do all the PR and marriage stuff right now. Because I think we're going to be getting into hotspots next.
I wonder if it's worth me doing it this time, even though I did not do it in Chapter 1, and I also did not
There's
do it
still
in
enough
Chapter 2.
time. There's still enough time to get it, if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, if you do it
there
now,
was like
you can
there was one point in the in one of the areas in Chapter 2 where it's like, you will miss these if you don't do them now, and I did that, but...
Right, yeah, I didn't even do those, but I know that like there's enough points, so it's fine. I think there's actually the most people who you can ask for these things in Chapter 3 and Chapter 5. And there's enough that you can actually satisfy the condition for both PR companies. So if you start now, there's definitely enough time to...
And do you have to do both PR companies?
No. You just have to do one PR company, and you don't have to do the marriage thing at all.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it. I'll give it a try. I'm pretty sure I'm convinced that I'm locked out of 100% by now, but...
Well, I'll tell you what.
Might as well. Due diligence.
The 100% is less important, I think, than episode complete. Because, like, we get, like, chapter complete or mission completes. Later, we'll get a thing called episode completes, which is if you've completed everything in an area every chapter. And there are good rewards, like good in-game rewards for getting every episode complete. So it's still worth doing it. Even if you're locked out of 100%, you can still get the episode completes. Those give really good rewards. So
cool.
I would still go for it. But,
good enough for me. Nice.
But yeah, so let's see. We'll hit Besaid next time. Kilika.
We got that key, right?
Yeah, we got that key, baby.
Actually, you know what? I think there's probably enough time. There's not that much left in Chapter 3. I think we could probably complete Chapter 3.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Which ends at Jose Temple. And I'm reading a little bit ahead right now in the 100% guide. It says Jose Temple is the point of no return. So I think you can still walk around and go do stuff up until you enter Jose Temple after it becomes a hotspot. So you have a little bit of time to dick around and mess around. Like if you want to do Besaid first and then do PR, it should be fine.
Cool. Sounds good.
But yeah, so we'll do the rest of Chapter 3 tomorrow, next week, whatever. Yeah, does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Hell yeah. Do y'all have anything you want to announce or anything?
No.
Nope.
I will announce on May 19th, we have a Zaku show at Ortlieb's.
Nice. I love that place.
So that'll be exciting. If you're in the Philadelphia area, come on out, hang out. May 19th, Ortlieb's.
Ortlieb's a good spot.
Who are we playing with? I don't know. Find out later.
I'm seeing Nowhere this weekend, which will be last week. So
yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into that and see. We've had pretty stacked weekends the past couple of weeks, so a weekend of not doing anything would be pretty good. But
yeah,
we also really want to see Nowhere if it's not sold out. So
yeah,
and we would get to see you, Alex, which would be very fun.
Aw.
Yeah, I submitted a panel for the Gaming Expo Too Many Games. I don't know if it's going to get in, especially because they said that people who got in would have received word by now. But also, one of their pages says that if it has that we would also receive word about declines, and it still says that you can apply for a panel there.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It might just be that they're behind, but I'm leaning towards it probably not happening. But I don't know. I'm going to be at Too Many Games regardless. So,
when is Too Many Games?
I think it's in June.
I always forget to go to it. Like, I mean, I did go to it for like an hour or two last year, and I entered a Street Fighter tournament.
Yeah, I saw you
in
there.
the
That's
first
right.
round. But
Yeah. It is June 28th and the 30th at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, which, despite its name, not actually in Philadelphia.
And not great at all. No, I'm kidding.
Not great at all.
Took quite a bus to get out there when I used to go.
Yeah, but it's always a good time. So I'll definitely be there for that. Hopefully hosting a panel about Dark Souls speedrunning. But
hell yeah.
If not, one of these days we'll get it in.
I pray it's this one or next one, whatever's good for you.
I'm just trying to get free admission, honestly.
There we go.
Gotta get in there. Maybe someday we'll have a panel.
Yeah, we should do a panel there at some point. Free admission for all of us.
Okay, well, Alex, would you like to read the credits? But I don't want you to read the credits if you're already with a group of 2 or more. So, you think you can accommodate that?
I'll come back for you. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode 14 of season 8. Or is it season 7? I don't remember. We're creeping up on our 5th anniversary, though, so that's cool.
It's rough that we have to remember a season and also a game. So it's like,
and also a
it's
number,
the 8th season, but the 10th tooth game. You know.
Either way, thank you to Noriko Matsuda and Takahiko Gucci for the game music. Speaking of, I noticed that the Gullwings airship music changed.
It's changed. It's
this like kind of weird. It's kind of like reminds me of Persona music. It's a little upbeat.
There's some like bounciness to it, right? Like some kind of...
It's a theme from Final Fantasy X. It borrows some of its progression from other songs on the OST.
Yeah, they've been doing that a little bit. I think that like dynamically the soundtrack has been changing a little bit, so it's still like the
airship
main
is
hook.
shifting. We don't have that like that the funky little
Yeah. It's nice.
It sounds like Rouge the Bats like music from like Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
But now it's like sounds like Persona music. It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I like that they've been doing that.
It's the song that we hear at the very beginning of the game, right? When we get the cutscene where Yuna's in full FMV and she does the flip and shoots the guns. The da 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 da.
Yeah, I think that's Yuna's theme. I think that's Yuna's theme is the main hook. Yeah.
But it's like a fun version of that.
Kind of weird. It does this cool, like really jazzy thing, but it adds like a weird, like atonal, like horn thing. Like this, not even in key.
Real good.
That's cool. But anyway, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. You can find us at EveryFNFF on Twitter /X/Bluesky/Instagram/YouTube, and hop into our Discord to bother us more and ask us when we're going to be uploading more episodes.
Which is a valid question. We'll let you know when we know.
As of this moment, there's none.
As of this moment, you're welcome.
And Alex go against Will of Podcast if Curtis not stop him.
All right. I will see you all next week.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.